Welcome, one and all.
This is the greatest show.
Check out this week's live stream.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm Jimmy, and welcome to my house.
Bullpen Nation. Assemble.
Let's go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the show on a Tuesday, and we got a big one. This is going to be the relief pitcher outlook for this offseason. We're going to have to probably push that back a couple minutes because we have new information. We have two big deals. What a day already. This day is completely on fire, and I'm watching my Twitter because I'm waiting for something else to happen. But you see it in the text box. Jose Berrios has extended with the Blue Jays a 7-year deal, $131 million. Jose Berrios is locked in. Dan, it's doing well. It's okay. Stay tuned on the whole cold thing. Jose Berrios, 7 years, $131 million, an opt-out after his 5th year. He's got a no-trade, an 8-team no-trade list. But listen, the Toronto Blue Jays, they made the deal. They gave up Austin Martin. They gave up Simeon Woods Richardson. You can't do that and only be getting Jose Berrios for a year and a half. Wasn't going to work. Was not going to work. So the front office does the right thing. They get the deal done. Again, Jose Berrios, 7 years, $131 million. We are going to take a look at what the Blue Jays rotation might look like. So, okay, here's the thing. We got Berrios, Ryu, Manoah. I think Pearson works his way into the rotation this year. Hatch is number 5 if you don't have Ray and Matz, one of those two. But certainly, I don't think this Berrios deal rules the Blue Jays out for re-signing either one of those. I do think it makes it clear that maybe they don't bring both of them. We're going to get one of those pitchers back, Ray or Matz. But I think it's a good chance that you can still have Robbie Ray back. If you do that, you bump Thomas Hatch out. Thomas Hatch is your long guy. Thomas Hatch is your next man up if somebody gets hurt kind of situation. But a rotation that could potentially have Berrios, Ryu, Manoah, Pearson, and Ray would be elite, in my opinion. I know I'm a little biased, but Robbie Ray could win the Cy Young. Jose Berrios has shown he's a great pitcher. Ryu, I think we're going to have some up and downs from Ryu over these last couple years of his contract. But then you got Manoah, who's up and coming, looks like a star, and then Nate Pearson, who needs to figure it out. But listen, this rotation, one of the things we talked about last year as far as the Blue Jays went is that we wanted the Jays to make a big splash with the starting pitcher because we didn't want Nate Pearson thrust into a role that he might not be ready for. With this rotation, with Berrios and Ryu and Manoah, let's say there's no Ray or Matz. Pearson doesn't need to be the number 1 or the number 2 or even the number 3. He can settle into that number 4 spot. And if they bring back Ray or Matz, Pearson can settle into the number 5 spot. Get your head together and get it right, Nate Pearson. So there's an opportunity for Nate Pearson to grow by bringing Berrios in and, again, attaching him to the top of that rotation. The 1, the 2, the 3, whatever you look at him as, we know at the very least he's a top 3 in a rotation, and Berrios is locked in. And this is great news, I think, in terms of how much the Jays are spending here. I don't think it's that much. I think they are making out well on this deal. Let's look at Berrios' stats. Again, anybody that might not be familiar, showed flashes with the Twins. His ERA sort of lived between 3.68 and 4 with Minnesota. Was a good pitcher. A good K rate, sort of lived in that 9 to 10 range. Came to Toronto in the trade for Woods Richardson and for Martin. Berrios, what was it, first start, second start, pretty good. And then he struggled. I can remember on Twitter, Blue Jays Twitter, freaking out about Berrios, but then he got locked in. Pete Walker worked on him, tweaked the mechanics of his rotation, and boom, Jose Berrios was great. Pete Walker's magic strikes again. Got Jose Berrios fixed straight. Berrios was great from that moment on. When they tweaked his mechanics with his rotation, he was in great shape. So we have Jose Berrios to the Blue Jays. Again, the big deal. 7-year extension, $131 million, an opt-out after year 5, 7 for 131. I mean, listen, he is part of the future of this team. And we look at his numbers again. He's entering his age 28 season. He's in his prime. 7 years takes him to his mid-30s. That's good. We talked about the Eduardo Rodriguez deal yesterday for the Tigers. It takes him to his mid-30s. These are not contracts that are going to kill the team. And look at some of those other contracts where you go 10 years and you're going into the late 30s and the player is garbage at that point. Jose Berrios, for a Blue Jays, from an organizational standpoint, is a nice move. So I like it. Comment, let me know. We have a good crowd in here now in the chat. So thank you guys. Let me know what you think. Is this a win? Is this a loss? Or do you not care? Are you waiting for relief pitchers? Are you waiting for the Noah Syndergaard conversation that we are about to have? Because we have to talk about Syndergaard. But if you're with me live in the chat, W, L, or N. W mean you think it's a win. L, you think it's a loss. N, you're neutral. You don't care. What do you think? W, L, or N? Hit it in the chat right now. I have a little bit of a delay, so I'll wait a second for you guys to get it. But I want to see what we got here. Hold on. I got another mention. John Morosi, this is from Baseball Domain tweeting at me. Listen, you guys, if you follow me on Twitter, you can tweet stuff at me all the time. Where's my socials? You can, tweet at me if you see something. Baseball Domain tweeting at me from John Morosi. Even after the Jose Berrios extension, the Blue Jays are working diligently to upgrade the rotation. They continue to talk with their own free agents, Ray and Matz, as well as Kevin Gausman, among others. They've also spoken with the Marlins on their starters. Heard about the Marlins piece the other day. Sandy Alcantara and Pablo Lopez. I don't think any of those other Marlins are getting dealt, but those two, the more senior level starters, seem to be available potentially from Miami, and we know Toronto has spoken with them. Hopefully, it wouldn't have to give up too much, because if you're a Blue Jays fan and you're holding out hope for a J-Ram trade, you would hate to see a Sandy Alcantara trade ruin any chances of J-Ram. But then again, J-Ram may be impossible. May never happen. Again, we got a lot of W's. In the chat on the deal. Big W from Rocky Adams. Good to see you. And Lionheart, Sean, Chelston, Kenneth, Baseball Domain. I think they'll take care of the bullpen too. GM Turco, apparently the Yankees will be offering $300 million offer to the cheater. Not a good idea. Is that what you're hearing? Tweet that at me if you saw that somewhere, GM Turco. Tweet it at me, Jim Riley Live. I would be interested to see. I haven't seen that. Listen, I say this. This is one of the things we do when we do the watches. If you see something, say something. Anybody can pop off in the chat room and make up whatever they want, but we need it to be attached to a source. Okay, and if you can tweet it at me at Jim Riley Live, follow me on Twitter, tweet it at me. I can, we'll take a look at it, because I follow a ton of people, but I know I don't follow everybody. The guy who was popping off yesterday about Carlos Correa going to the Tigers, I don't follow him. Midwest Sports tweeted at me that there was this guy, a verified account, saying that Correa to the Tigers was a done deal. That did not happen yesterday, but doesn't mean it still won't happen. But anyway, so tweet at me if you see something. Tweet it at me at Jim Riley Live. That's why the social is up there. All right, big W. We got all W's. I don't see any L's on the situation. Apple plays, and neither team in the NL got to worry about them. Right, there you go. Apple plays. Braves fan doesn't really care about this deal. So, Jose Berrios to the Jays. That was awesome. Love it. We got a lot of W's. Let's see. You saw something last night, GM. Okay, Savage, did you see what Correa said about Jeter? I did. And we can talk about that in a minute because the whole Correa thing and Jeter. Correa saying that Jeter didn't deserve his gold gloves. Okay. I know some people don't care about that. Some people don't give a rip about what he says about Derek Jeter. But I also know some fans do. You're rubbing the fan base the wrong way. If you want to go play there, don't say that crap. Huge W for the Jays from Kevin. Extending him for this cheap. He's an absolute stud. It will be our ace for many years. Yeah, exactly. And could you imagine if they could get that Robbie Ray deal done and pair Berrios and Ray and have those two at the top of the rotation for the next 5 years? This is the championship window. All right. So, the other news. And this one's a little bit more intriguing to me. Syndergaard going to the Angels. And it's not like he got a multi-year deal with the Angels. Right? He gets a 1-year, $22 million deal to go to the Angels. Syndergaard had had the qualifying offer on the table from the Mets. I know this is $4 million more, but what does that say? Jumping ship and going to the Angels, for the Angels to be the team that you're going to go to have I'm going to prove it to everybody, season. You're going to the Angels? Listen, we know the Angels need pitching, and I still think we talked about it yesterday. There's plenty. I don't think this takes them out of the running for any of the pitchers we talked about yesterday. Yesterday, I talked about the Angels getting in the running for Kershaw and for Pineda. I don't think that changed. I really don't think this changes it. Is it 21? It might be 21. 22 or 21. But the fact of the matter is, there's something telling here that Syndergaard says, you know what, I'm going to do my prove it to the league year out with the Angels and not with the Mets. I was surprised to see that. Obviously, he has absolutely no connection, no ties, no loyalty, no respect, nothing for the Mets with this kind of a deal. Mets fans, listen, I feel terrible for what the Mets have been going through with this offseason. Okay, if you don't like the Mets, if you're a Mets hater, you think this is great. This has been comedy. The GM that they just hired, Billy Epler, I think that's a big miss. Straight up. L on that hire. So you're going and you're getting the guy. I saw somebody put it on Twitter, sort of rephrase my words in a better way. So you go and get the GM that wasted Mike Trout's best years, not able to make the playoffs. That's who you're going to bring in and be the GM? Are we serious now? So that's the GM. That is a L. That is a loss. Billy Epler, in my opinion. I don't see it. I do not see it. I think that, I know he came up with the Yankees and all that stuff, and so he goes back to New York, and maybe, you can rise up to a certain position and be a star in lower level positions, and then when you get the big gig, absolutely flame out. He didn't get it done with the Angels. Why do you think, Mets, why do you think he's going to get it done for you? I don't understand it. I know they had a terrible time. Teams denying the opportunity to interview their young front office stars and other front office executives declining to even interview, which I thought was a weak move. Anybody that declined to at least interview to be the general manager of a Major League Baseball team, that's weak. That's weak. If I'm the president of baseball operations or I'm the owner, I'm like, yeah, no, go interview. It'll be good for you. It'll be good experience to go through the interview process to be a GM. We might want you to be the GM one day. I'm not saying I want you to leave, but go get that experience interviewing to be a GM. And you had people declining to even do that, which I thought was weak. I thought that was weak on them. And for people like that, you don't want them to be the GM anyway. There's something's not strong where it needs to be for that person to be your GM. So, but they get Epler. I don't like it. Now there's ties that maybe Brad Ausmus, there's a connection there. So I don't know. Mets fans, I feel bad for you. At the end of the day, I feel bad for you. And now Syndergaard on the move. Now, you might not care about Syndergaard being on the move. You might want to take that $18 million and put that towards Javi Baez. Put that towards trying to get Conforto back. Make another Stroman back. Things like that. You can now reinvest that money because, listen, quite frankly, Thor gave you 2 seasons to be excited about. He's going to be entering his age 29 season. 2018 was a lot of fun. 2016, big time. He showed he could be a star. And then the injuries. Missed most of 2017, missed 20, missed 21. And quite frankly, I feel like his return in 2021 took forever. Didn't we see him in spring training looking good, looking like, oh, this guy's going to be ready to pitch this year? We'll have him by midseason. And they didn't get him back until the last couple games of the year. So, listen, if you're a Mets fan, you probably say good riddance on Noah Syndergaard. Done with him, over him, forget it. He can go take his injured ass to the Angels, and we're done. We move on, and you're perfectly fine with that. And that's fine. That would be the way of thinking about it if you are a Mets fan, is just move on, go, be gone, good riddance. I'm surprised, again, with his injury history, to leave the Mets. I'm surprised he couldn't get a couple years. But obviously nobody was giving it to them. Let's see. 1 year is a great deal. Love for the Jays to gamble on him. I'd love for the Jays to gamble on him. I don't think I'd love for the Jays to gamble on him for $20 million. But that's the going rate right now. $20 million. I talked about it in my Verlander video. There are only a handful of pitchers that are at that $20 million mark. I think there were 11 that are contracted for next year that have that $20 million AAV. And then Spot Track projected another 5 or 6 to enter the $20 million AAV range for starters. So there's only 15, 16 that are going to have that $20 million mark. And now Noah Syndergaard is one of them. I think the Angels might have overpaid. On this deal for Syndergaard. Good to have you guys in, by the way. I'm loving the activity in the chat. You guys are crushing it today. Apple, Mark, it was one for 21. We see some Jays love wanting Syndergaard back. How many innings can you really expect from Thor? It's a great question. That's a great question. Ballcap, which team am I a fan of? Big boy, I'm a fan of the Blue Jays. Why is it? I understand that Mets ownership is a joke. Steve Cohen, there are only a few of these jobs that come available, 1 or 2 a year. There's only a handful of them anyway. Go through the interview process. You don't have to take the job. You can go through the interview process. Maybe you'll learn something that you don't already know. Go through the interview process. It is the experience of interviewing for that job would be valuable. Not that you have to take the job, but just interview for it. Talk to them. Baseball Domain, I want them to look at John Gray or Marquez to fill the Matt spot. Well, Marquez, they would have to trade. John Gray, they could just go pick up on free agency. John Gray wouldn't be a bad pickup. All right, let's do this. So we have Thor to the Angels. We have Berrios signing with the Blue Jays. Big stuff. We talked about the situation with the Mets GM. I'm not a big fan of the move. I think it was shallow waters that they were fishing in anyway. So what are you going to do? The Mets, they wanted to interview Shapiro, and the Blue Jays denied that. To a legend, Simeon was a gamble at $20 million. I have no issue with them gambling at that price. We're a wealthy team. Listen, that's a good point, but Simeon also was not, a deal done within the first couple weeks of free agency, if I remember correctly. If you start to put your team together and you've got the other pieces, I'm okay gambling on players if you have addressed some of your major concerns and you still have some money left over. Is the way I kind of lean on as far as that goes. All right, where are we? We are 20 minutes in. We are 20 minutes in. So anybody, real quick, hit that like if you haven't hit the like yet. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, just finding the channel. If you are just hopping in, I did see the Morning Beer Podcast subscribed right before we came on. So I'm not sure, that wouldn't have shown up. I'm not sure if he's here. He might have been watching something else when he subscribed. But re-signed Judge, for crying out loud. Yeah, that Judge thing. There's something interesting brewing there. Do you see moves happening? I do. Listen, I'm now sitting here with my phone essentially on call for the top free agents to somebody to sign. Let's see. I see some of you guys following me. Listen, I have a rule. If you follow me while we are live, I will follow you back. So, again, like I said, that's one of my rules. I see a couple follows, so I'll follow you guys back real quick. Let's see. Anything else? All right. Just taking care of that. I'm literally sitting with my phone waiting for the alerts on the top free agents because I feel like the whole CBA thing is not going to slow anything down. I think the CBA thing, these deals, Berrios, Erod, some of the traction we're hearing, some of the other stuff. To me, it's maybe a good sign on the CBA front that both sides feel like they're going to get something done. Nothing tragic is going to happen. Nothing is going to hurt the teams that are signing these long-term deals. So I do think that we'll see some more deals. I think we're going to see a deal every day. We had Erod yesterday. We had Thor. We had Berrios today. I think there could be another one later today. I see you, Evan. So, I got more deals coming. And again, any of the top 15 that sign, if I can, I'm coming on live. I see you, Trevor. So I will. That's why you want to subscribe and hit the alerts so we can come back. You guys, the chat. You guys drive the channel. You are Ballcap Nation. So let's see. Steve Mammon, Heyman, Passan, and Morosi said deals will get done this week. Yeah, I think we're going to see some more CBA actually speeding things up. That's a good idea. GM VP Collectibles. Don't know if y'all already talked about Pena signed with the Braves. I did not talk about that. I agree. I actually think that this signing increases the chances of Simeon staying. That's an interesting idea. Simeon would love for Simeon to try to work something out. If the Blue Jays just run it back, we talked about that in my Blue Jay video. If they just run it back, bring back Simeon, bring back Ray, bring back, extend Berrios, just run the team back. Why don't they win the AL East next year? With the same team from last year at the end of the year, with that bullpen, with how they improved the bullpen, with the moves they made at the trade deadline. Just run that team back. I mean, I'd love for them to go and trade for J-Ram. I would love for them to go get Kevin Gausman or somebody like that. I'd love that. Make a trade with the Marlins to get Alcantara in here. That'd be great. But I also think that you could run this team back next year and do some damage. I see a few of you guys with some follows. Again, Kenneth, Derek, follow you back. Oh, let's see. Okay, so the Angels are talking about 2 to 3 more pitchers. Happy days as an Angels fan. We talked about it yesterday. The Angels need to bulk up. My 2 other picks for them are Kershaw and Pineda. Now, whether that happens, who knows? Santee City, I see you, following you back. Can the Angels sign another pitcher, Jose? Most definitely. Yes, smash that like if you haven't already. Hit that thing. One of these days, we're gonna give out some mods. So hit that like. We've got some moderators that we need to add into the group. You guys are a good group here. We're at 42 likes. We got to jump that thing up. We got 113 viewers. Can we get to 70? That's a big ask. I understand that that's a big ask, but can we get to 70? Midwest Sports, my man, Midwest Sports. Shout out to Midwest Sports. He threw me that tweet from that. I don't even remember his name anymore. That the podcaster, the journalist who's worked for MLB and USA Today and was talking about the Correa thing. Midwest Sports with the tweet shouted at me. You guys listen. This is what I love. I'll get the alerts about that Heyman or Pass or whatever, but that gets sort of on Twitter buried in a row with all the other alerts that I get. But when I get tweeted at from you guys, that just hits. Boom, boom, boom. And that's I love seeing that fill up. So you guys are sort of my eyes and ears when I'm, taking kids to school or moving stuff from the old house to the new house. I love it. And we are up to 50 likes. Thank you guys. Jump into 50 is a good number. Is Danny Duffy healthy? I think he is. Let's see. Mark, what one of the signings will set off a ton of signings? You got to think about players setting the market. So one of the shortstops, Any one of the short, if Correa signs, that could set the market and you could see some things move. I think one of the starters could certainly set things in motion if Kershaw signs or Gausman signs or Rodon signs, Robbie Ray signs, because then teams start to get a little bit more motivated to make a move if they were trying to get one of those players. So I think one of the shortstops and one of the starting pitchers could really get things flowing. Jay-Z to strengthen the bullpen, even if they bring their team back. But I love Simber. But here, okay, Kenneth, I agree with you, but I think we only need like one piece. I love the Blue Jays bullpen with Romano at the back, Simber and Richards in the 7th and 8th innings. Timothy Meza was great. I trust Merriweather. So there's 5. I got 5 right there, and I think I'm forgetting somebody. So I got 5 that I trust right off the bat. Go get one more. If you got 6 guys that you trust, 6 players, 6 relievers in the circle of trust, and then another 2 guys sort of trying to work their way in, you got a solid bullpen. Danny Duffy has a shoulder strain. Thank you for the update on that, Rich. Gavin, Carlos Correa will sign with the Tigers. That's what I think will happen. I have been saying that Correa to the Tigers makes sense for months. I'm sticking with that. So that's my feeling. Still want Kenley Jansen. I honestly would pass. I will ride or die with Jordan Romano. Simeon is going back to Toronto from the Brooks family. That would be nice. I would be happy with that. Let me see. Anybody else with that follow? Matthew, I got you with the follow back there. Again, anybody that follows me while we're doing the live streams, I follow you back. And the big thing is, if you see something, say something, tweet things at me. Kenneth, great. Love the chat. Love the Berrios signing. You can tweet at me while we're in here. You can kind of you can get directly through to me. All right, let's do this. Brooks, thank you, man. Let's see. Simber and Romano are great. I'm a big fan of Simber and Romano. And again, Richards, the anytime you can, I know that he didn't come directly from Tampa, but indirectly get a reliever from Tampa, I'm cool with that. I mean, if the Blue Jays could pick up Colin McHugh, I think is one of the biggest relief pitchers that are out there, and I think he'll be a big signing for somebody. Let's do this. All right, let's get into the relievers. We got to talk relievers. That's what this is for. So anybody that is here for relievers, looking for that outlook, we're going to do that. Rich Atwood, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Welcome to our community. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Rich. Let's do, again, anybody else, if you're new, do like Rich. Hit that subscribe. And if you subscribe and we don't get that alert, comment in the chat. Let me know that you subscribe, because if the alert doesn't pop up, that means your settings for following or subscribing people are set to private, so it won't do the alert. Gavin, welcome to the Platinum membership. So that is another thing. I don't really pump that too much in the live streams. I figure you guys can find that. I do have memberships, Platinum memberships. Platinum members get exclusive access to some of the emojis and an exclusive video. There's 2 a month. The first one for November is already up. It was my predictions for the awards, Rookie of the Year, MVP, Cy Young, all that. So that is up. So if you do become a Platinum member, you get the emojis and you get 2 exclusive videos that will only go to the Platinum members. You get that too. So you can, Gavin, welcome, and thank you for joining. Let's see. Baseball Domain, Heyman tweeting out, last heard 6th year was still an issue with Freeman and the Braves talks, but situation is fluid. And they've still got to be considered the favorite. Meanwhile, other teams are showing interest in. Yeah, I think that's with Freeman, the number of years on his deal, that 6th year is an issue because of his age. 5 is the sweet spot for a team. And he could leave based on that 6th year. That could be the difference. I would hate to see that be the thing. I would hate that. So, yeah, we have Freeman. The issue here is the Braves don't want to go to 6, and Freeman does, which I understand why he does. Kenneth, you don't trust Merriweather, need to stay healthy. This will be his year. Rich, the Orioles need a ton of pitchers. They do. And I don't think they're going to spend any big money on those pitchers. I think they're going to get they'll just get bulk guys, right? Guys that can eat some innings. Apple plays. There you go. Right on. Nobody wants Freeman to leave Atlanta, except maybe like Yankee fans, because they want to get Freeman to their team. Let's do this. We got a good chat going on. Let's keep it going. Let's make a slight pivot to this. And I'm going to throw up. I'm not going to throw up. I'm going to put up Shark Sports Cards. Just subscribe. Welcome to Ballcap Nation, Shark Sports Cards. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to our community. Glad to have you here. Where did I put the thumbnail? And Suburban Homeboy, welcome to the nation. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Welcome to our community. I'm glad you subscribe and you are joining. Welcome in. So here's what we're going to do. We are finally going to get to this. We're going to talk about these relievers. We've got a handful of guys to get through. We're going to get to that right now. I put that up there so anybody that's trying to catch the replay and doesn't really care about the Blue Jays or the Angels deals, they can get back to that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to need your predictions, as always, on where we think some of these guys are going to go. All right, let's see here. Let's get that up. Let's talk about relievers real quick. First up, teams that need a relief pitcher. We kind of did this yesterday. We could do it again today. Everybody under the sun needs a relief pitcher. I need a relief pitcher. How about who needs a closer? There we go. We have a little bit more of a definitive look at who needs a closer. The Padres, Melanson opted out. The Nats could use a closer. The A's, the Diamondbacks, the Cubs, Phillies, Angels, Reds, Tigers, Rockies, Red Sox, and Dodgers could all use closers. Now, you may be looking at this list, and you may be thinking, well, where are the Orioles? Or where are, or why are the Red Sox on here? Because maybe they have a closer. I'll run it through real quick. I don't have the Orioles on here because I think they're going to go back and forth between Tate and Sulser. The Red Sox are on here because do you trust Matt Barnes? The Rays are not on here. They've got Fairbanks. They've got a committee of guys. They don't really need a closer. Over in the Central, Tigers, you had Funkhauser, you had Fulmer, but with the team they're putting together, I think they need a real closer. You had Barlow and Stalmont closing out games for the Royals, so that's why the Royals are not on here. The Mariners are not on here because Streckenrider, after the trade, Streckenrider did a good job for the Mariners, and I think he'll probably start the year as the closer, depending on who they sign this free agency. So, they have Streckenrider. So, that's why I don't have Seattle on here. Over in the NL East, I don't have the Marlins on here. Floro was closing out games. They got Bender. They have multiple options. I don't think they would spend a lot of money for a closer anyway. In the Central, I don't have Pittsburgh on here because they're similar to the Orioles. They're not going to go out and get into a real conversation for a closer. What they're going to end up doing is they're going to end up just working it with who they've got. Chris Stratton, David Bednar, people like that. Out west, Arizona, Tyler Clippard was closing out games. He's a free agent. I have the Rockies on here. Carlos Estevez was their closer at the end of the year, and he was just not good. So I think they need to make a move. Now, I know the Dodgers. Here's the thing with the Dodgers. They have Blake Trinan for another year, so they could say, we're good. And some other pieces that they can move into closer. But this is a team that's going to need an elite closer. This is a team that goes into a season with like 2 or 3 closers as it is. So with Kenley Jansen being a free agent, with Corey Knebel being a free agent, I have the Dodgers needing a closer. And again, the Padres are on here because Melanson's gone. And there we go. That's a quick roundup on why certain teams are on this and why certain teams are not. So, available. Let's take a look at who's available. We focus on Closers, we focus on lefties. We focus on some middle relievers here. Iglesias, Jansen, Tepera, McHugh, Loop, Chafin, Melanson, Graveman, Neris, Givens, Shreve, Martin, Bradley, Kelly, Watson, Diekman, Rosenthal, Knebel. We have a list of closers, we have middle relievers, and we have lefties. Loop, Chafin, Shreve, Diekman are your lefties. The middle relieving right-handers, you got Tepera, McHugh, Martin, Kelly, Knebel. Though Knebel could step into a closer position. And then you got the closers, the eligible closers, guys who have closed. Iglesias, Jansen, Melanson, Graveman, Neris, Givens, Bradley, Rosenthal, and again, Knebel. So we are going to go through and we are going to take a look. Listen, guys, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have my notes, and I think I left them upstairs. So I'm going to leave this page up, and I'm going to be back in 30 seconds. All right, sorry about that, guys. That was unprofessional as hell. Okay, so I've got my notes. Listen, I'll be lost without this stuff. So let's get into predictions. Let's talk about where we might be sending these guys. Let's do what we've done the whole way, and let's get the player board up. So where are we going to put these guys? Dodgers could take a flyer on Rosenthal. Johnny Cage, that's a good idea. Richard, you believe Givens stays with his team? Hayden Baseball, good to see you. What's up, my man? All right, let's get into this. Raisel Iglesias is first up. Arguably, you could say he's the best relief pitcher that was here. We do have some stats. So while we get to Iglesias, so we talk about where Iglesias could go, we'll take a look at his numbers as well. 2.57 ERA, 34 saves. He was good last year. K rate of 13.2, Ks per 9 rate. That was the best he's ever posted. He was great with the Angels, and if you remember, the Angels got him for nothing from the Reds. So where does Raisel Iglesias go? Comment, let me know. Where are you putting Iglesias? I've got my thought. Where do you think he's going to go? We've got back to Angels. Got him staying. I think there are some conversations happening in the background which could pull him away from the Angels. We got a lot of Angels. Let me throw this out to you guys, because this is what I think is going to happen. Again, Erod declined the Red Sox qualifying offer, and then an hour later had a deal with the Tigers on the table. So there's conversations happening behind the scenes, and I think we could see a situation, this is my guess, this is my prediction, that we have a Iglesias. I got to do something real quick. No. Let me do this. Sorry, guys, having an error with this stuff. Bear with me 2 seconds. I got to fix this so it doesn't all go to the back. I'm putting him on the Padres. I feel like there is a chance that he goes to San Diego and ends up sort of, again, a behind-the-scenes conversation happening. The Padres, an area that the Padres have a need, and if they're going to spend some money, is closer. Now that Melancon has opted out, you can go get Iglesias. You can lock him in for a few years. I'd like Iglesias to go to the San Diego Padres. Angels is a good idea if he can get the same deal. You know, if he's not going to get a better deal, but I think the Padres could go offer a multi-year deal and could pull Iglesias away. Next up, the big guy, Kenley Jansen. Comment, where do you think Kenley Jansen is going to go? Where do you put Kenley? SHF, about the starters to stay healthy, they're going to roll into the spring training with 6 or 7 starters as it is. I think Iglesias. I think there's 3 or 4 teams for Iglesias. I just feel like San Diego, if they want to go, still make that, we're improving our team, we're going big. Iglesias is a way to do that. We got some Dodgers, we got some Phillies, we've got Detroit, Gavin to the Rangers, Matthew to the Jays, Richard to the Rangers, 0989 Taiyu to the Brewers, Pedro Jansen to the Yankees, CC Gaming 64. I could see him in Detroit, but the question is, would he want it? Rams is to the Dodgers, Baseball Domain, Kenley to the Jays, Rocky to the Dodgers. The idea of him going to Detroit is interesting. The piece to that is if they're going to get Carlos Correa after they've spent the money on Erod, I don't think they'll have the money for Kenley Jansen. We got Jansen to the Red Sox, Jansen to the Phillies. The Phillies definitely need to do it. We are going to go through the closers first, by the way. We're going to knock off all of the closers, and then we're going to go to the middle relievers. So we are going to move around on the board a little bit. Yankees could be an option. Chapman's a free agent at the end of next year, so they could go with a 1-2 punch. But the problem is they've got a ton of money. The Yankees have a ton of money sunk in Zach Britton. Let's do this. Kenley Jansen, this is my feeling. Red Sox are an interesting idea. Phillies, too. I think he ends up back in L.A. That is my prediction, is that Kenley Jansen ends up back with the Dodgers. Dodger fans love it or hate it. He's a very polarizing player. I think Kenley Jansen ends up back with the Dodgers. Yeah, not exact. Good point. Simply Fog. Good call on that. I could have done 10 player boards for relief pitchers. It's unbelievable. And there are some good relievers that we left out. I tried to pick who I thought was sort of the best of the best. There is Kirby Yates. I don't know if Kirby Yates is going to pitch. I don't know if anyone. Kirby Yates might be done. So I have Hayden. You've got him with the Dodgers. Midwest Sports, Jansen to the Phillies. Again, that's a good one. Phillies are going to have to get aggressive. Let's go to Ryan Tepera. Like I said, we're doing closers first. So think about Tepera. I think Tepera gets an opportunity to close after how he pitched this past season for the 2 Chicago teams. I think Tepera gets a chance to close. So where do you have Tepera going? Think about some of these closing options. Teams that need the closers. And again, we'll pull up Ryan Tepera's stats this last year with the Cubs, a 2.91 ERA. With the White Sox, a 2.50 ERA. A K rate. Back when he was with the Blue Jays, that K rate was 6, 7, 8, 9. Now it's 10, 11, 12, 13. He's a different pitcher. He was great in 2021. Ryan Tepera needs to be a closer somewhere. So where do you have Tepera closing? That's the question. Baseball Domain, I'm going to Cleveland. Hayden to the Reds. Matthew Carr to the Phillies. Goofy Goober, did we discuss Thor to the Angels yet? Yes, we did. We discussed Berrios and Thor right at the top. We can get back to that after we go through the player board if you want. VP Collectibles, Tepera to the Phillies. Tepera to the Phillies from Dan. Brendan to the Phillies. Cameron, Seattle. Hayden's got him going to the Reds. Kimbrel to the Red Sox. That is a trade. We're going to talk about trades. And Jackie, yeah, that could be real. Gavin, if Iglesias goes to San Diego, like you said, then he goes to the Angels. Here is my feeling. I think Tepera It's been mentioned by a few teams, a few of you guys. I have Tepera going to the Phillies. I don't think the Phillies can mess around. I think the Phillies also cannot spend out for Iglesias or Jansen. But if they're looking to get the next best thing, it's Tepera. That's what I see. I see Ryan Tepera as one of the best relievers available. He deserves a chance to close. Philly, all 3 pitchers who closed out for them last year are gone. So they need to address the closer role, and I think Tepera ends up on the Phillies. I think it's going to be too much for Oakland, Savage. Steve has them going to the Savannah Bananas. Yeah, that's a new that's a new expansion franchise. I hear it's going to be. That's where Cleveland is moving. Cleveland is moving to Savannah, Georgia, and they figured that Bananas was a better name than Guardians. Matt, I think he'll get a shot. I think he'll get a shot because there are. I'll put it this way. I think there are more teams that need closers than there are closers available. So I think Tepera gets a shot. Loop heavily looked at by the Jays. I like that. That would be nice. Let's go to, like I said, I'm going to stick with closers. The next closer on this list, I know Chafin was closing out, but Melancon. Let's go to Melancon. Surefire closer. We know he's going to be getting a closer gig somewhere. Where do you guys have Mark Melancon? We're going to circle back to McHugh, Loop, and Chafin in a minute. Melancon. Where is Melancon going to go and close? Melancon's getting up there in age. It's going to be his age 37 season, but last year, 2.23. Maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's being out west. Max Scherzer, Fountain of Youth out west. Mark Melancon, Fountain of Youth, he's out west. 2.23 ERA last year for the Padres. 39 saves. You see the black there leading baseball with the 39 saves. Was an all-star for the 4th time in his career. Where's Mark Melancon going to go close games? Give me your prediction on Melancon. And while you're doing that, make sure to hit that like. Don't forget to hit that like. Support the channel. Drive this video. Drive this channel. That's what likes do with YouTube's algorithm and everything. It basically it's a way to promote the channel. So make sure to hit that like if you haven't already. We're at 73. We got to get to 100. We got to get to 100. We need about 25. Are there 25 of you out there in the chat that haven't used your like yet? Justin, you have Melancon back to San Diego. Gavin to the Giants. Chance to the Cardinals. Leinart to the D-backs. Let's see. Hayden, Giants. Alfredo, Cardinals. Cameron, Cardinals. Marcus, you had Mets or Yanks. Scott, he's got his own business. Might be referring to something earlier in the chat. Richard, Oakland. CC Gaming, I almost think Detroit because if he goes there, he can also help the young guys in the bullpen and teach them. That is an interesting point. And on that note, I do have him going to Detroit. I think that the Tigers will not, listen, the Tigers got to shore up the back of that bullpen. They're spending money on Erod. They might be spending money on Correa. If that's the case, they need to make sure those games are done heading into the 9th when they have a lead. And Mark Melancon can do that. Also, nice convenient factor for Mark Melancon. He's probably only going to need a 1-year deal. So they can spend 10 to 15 million, 1-year deal, Mark Melancon to the Tigers. And then next year, maybe they can try to find, they can find somebody in their system right now that could become the closer. Move your setup guy into the closer role starting in 2023. But for 2022, I like Melancon going to the Tigers. Soto is, what happened to Soto? Let me see about Soto. I still think Melancon goes there. Good call on Soto. What happened to Soto? I think he got hurt. Didn't he get hurt? Let me pull up Gregory Soto real quick. He got hurt, but he's going to be in the mix. he is certainly going to be in the mix. That's a good call on Soto. Let me think about that. I might change Melanson's destination. I cannot believe I forgot about Soto. But that's an interesting idea. Let me think about Soto some more. But I do think Melanson could fit in Detroit. They are going to be that. The other piece about the Soto and Melanson, if you did a 1-2 combo, listen, that's what they've got, right? These bullpens, you gotta have a 1-2 punch. Let's move on. I am going to go to Kendall Graveman next. I think Kendall Graveman is going to get another closer gig. I think there is a chance. Yeah, it's Gregory Soto, not the Nat Soto. Gregory Soto, lefty for the Tigers, was very good. I mean, he did a ton last year for the Tigers. I think he was starting games at one point. Gregory Soto appeared in 62 games. He started games in 2019. Soto did. Soto 62 games last year, finished 38 of them, 18 saves. He was a good pitcher. But he could be your setup guy, and Melanson can close things down. If you want to try to win the Central, I like the idea of the Tigers having that experienced closer. Let's go to Graveman. Where do you think Graveman's going to go? Graveman back with the Astros from Sandy City. Johnny's got Graveman going back to Seattle. Graveman to Atlanta from Savage. Dylan's got him to the Marlins. Brendan's got him to the White Sox or Boston. Dan to the Jays. Chelsea to Houston. 0989 to the Brewers. Baseball Domain, Seattle. John to the Jays. Cameron, Phillies. Marcus Yum to Toronto. Joe to Seattle. Justin, Boston or Toronto. Simply Seattle. Steve staying in Houston. Rob, Toronto. Gavin, Seattle. Here's what I think happens. When he was traded, there was just, it rocked the clubhouse. So what better way to fire that clubhouse back up by bringing him back? And I'm going to move it over here. His name's too long for the board to fit on the right. I think they fire that clubhouse back up and they bring Kendall Graveman back. Like we talked about it earlier, the player that filled in for him at closer did a good job. That was Streckenrider. Did a good job after that deal. But I feel like you bring Graveman back. Streckenrider, he can be your setup guy. Graveman, you bring him back. Certainly, Blue Jays. There's a lot of there's some areas where he could fit, but I think you send him back to Seattle. Justin, thank you, man. I'm glad. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Next closer. Who do I have as a closer? All right, I'm gonna go with Hector Neris. I think he gets another closer gig. Where do you guys have Hector Neris? Give me your thoughts on Neris. He was a little shaky for the Phillies. I think his days there are definitely done. Where do you have Hector Neris going, guys? Give me your thoughts in the chat. And we are 16 likes away from 100. Just 16. They are going to have Ken Giles. Good call on that, Chelsea. But you don't know what Ken Giles is going to give you after missing a year. And what if he has a setback in his recovery? Brandon to the Cubs. 0989 Reds. B2TB Mets. Johnny Cage Rangers. Lionheart. You're with me on Graveman in Seattle. Miguel Mets. Neris to Texas. Texas, that's an interesting idea. I don't know if the Rangers are going to spend the money on a closer this year, though. John, you've got him the Yankees. I think Yankee fans, you would absolutely hate Hector Neris. You would be throwing beers at Hector Neris. You would be throwing whatever wasn't bolted to the floor with Hector Neris. He drives you nuts. Pirates are an interesting idea. Hayden, Matthew, yeah, I'm going to the Rays. I think there was one or two that mentioned Cubs. I think he gets a gig closing for the Cubs. I think the Cubs have an opportunity right now where, yeah, listen, they want the back of the bullpen to be secure, but they can also afford, listen, the Cubs probably won't win the Central. Looking at their situation, right? I think we can all agree on that. So give Neris a shot. I think they're in more of an opportunity. They're in more of a time frame where they can give somebody a shot. And that's why I go Neris. I don't know if any other playoff contending team would want to go with Hector Neris as the closer anyway. Again, we have more need than we have actual quantity. There's more need in that closer role than there are players. So there are going to be some guys that get some shots. And Neris, at this point, on a contender, would probably be in the middle of the bullpen or maybe a late inning 7-8 guy. But he's not going to be a closer for a contending team. But a team that is going to look at this as a transition year could give him a shot. And that's why I have Neris going to the Cubs. I think that Michael Givens gets another shot. I think he will continue to close out games. One of the lesser-known closers. Midwest Sports, not a fan of Neris to the Cubs. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm going to put Michael Givens. You guys comment where you think Givens could wind up. I think Givens ends up similar situation to Neris. Doesn't end up on a contender. There's an opportunity for him to still be a closer. So I think he's going to go to a team that's looking at this year as a transition year or a rebuilding year or a retooling year, whatever you want to call it. So I think Givens could end up in a spot like that where he gets a shot somewhere. Santee City has Nats. Dan has the Rockies. Johnny has him staying with the Rockies. Steve has Chafin going back to the 70s. That's funny. Miguel, Rangers. That makes sense. John Weichel, Toronto. I wouldn't trust him. Gavin, you have him to the Nats. Michael Givens to the Pirates or the Nats. I have him. You guys can keep it coming. I have him going to the Nats. I think Michael Givens goes to Washington. Gets a chance. He can continue keep his closing gig. The Nats, could turn him into a prospect if Givens pitches well at the trade deadline. It just all makes sense for the Nats, the Cubs. Go out and get these guys 1 year deal, 2 year, 1 year deal with an option kind of thing, and you turn that guy into, if he does well, it's probably not part of your future, but you can go get a future piece in a trade. Would love the idea for Neris to go to the Cubs, have a great year, and then get dealt for a prospect. Same thing with Givens and the Nats. Let's see. Simply Flog idea works. Neris to the Cubs. Hoyer said Cubs won't be playoff ready in 2022, maybe 23 or 24. Right. And Neris, listen, if Neris comes in there and he's amazing, then you re-sign him. If he does well, if he shows flashes, then you trade him. We will be talking about trades for closers for sure, and there's a big one. Craig Kimbrel's the big one. Marco, Nats, you're a Mets fan. Who's happy that Noah turned down the QO? That's an interesting. We talked about the QO and Syndergaard, and Mets fans probably just like, you know what? Move on. Noah, take your injured self somewhere else. Let's move on. We have a couple more closers. On my list, I've got two more pitchers that are going to get some closing opportunities. Archie Bradley, I think, gets a gig. Archie Bradley, similar to Givens, similar to Neris, a team that's not going to be in playoff contention. Give a guy a shot. If he does well for you, trade him. Where could you see Bradley going? Teams that fit in that mode: the Nats, the Reds, the Pirates, D-backs, Rockies, Rangers, Royals, Orioles. But some of, there's teams that have a pressing need more than others. So I'm going to put, my pick is Bradley. We got Indians from Johnny, Casey from Miguel, Baseball Domain, A's, Savage has them at the Twins, Brendan. I'm sorry, dude. I'm glitching again. You have him to the Twins or Cleveland. Marco, we're going to have to look at that in terms of the picks for the qualifying offer. Maybe you could double check that for me. I'm not sure if a player signs. There's something about if a player signs for under $50 million, it's either the penalty for signing that player or the reward for that player going somewhere else and signing adjusts. You might maybe double check that. They made the qualifying offer thing so confusing. Let's see. Bradley to the Rangers, Red Sox. I'm going to put Archie Bradley with the Rockies. I'm putting him with the Rockies. It's the same thought process to Givens to the Nats and Neris to the Cubs. You get right. Brandon, Brendan, Braden. You know, I'm getting it. Brendan. We also have right before you, Brandon. With the comment, love seeing the Jays management actually believe in their team points. Yeah, man, this is the time, Brandon. This is the time. All right, next one. I think Trevor Rosenthal gets a shot, gets a chance. I don't think it is a exclusive closing opportunity, but I do think there's a team on here that we talked about that could use what he gave back in 2020. Dude worked hard to get himself back together. Look at this 2020, a 1.90 ERA over 23 games after completely falling apart. He got his walks together. He was walking 6.5 per 9 in 2016, 3.8. And it completely fell apart. 2019, 22 games, 26 walks. To go along with 11 hits, was getting crushed, but in 2020, got it back together. I think Trevor Rosenthal is going to get another gig. I think he gets an opportunity. And you guys comment where you think he could go. Toronto, Braves from William, Tigers from Dan. Good to see you guys in. Good to see you, William. I'm going to give Trevor Rosenthal, Johnny, you got him to the Dodgers, Miguel to Atlanta. There were a few calls for the Red Sox to get a couple of these guys. I'm going to put Rosenthal on the Red Sox. I think Barnes does not give any confidence to that fan base, to that team. You mix in Rosenthal, and you have at least a good backup. Or you give Rosenthal the gig straight up, and he beats it out and replaces Matt Barnes. So they put it together with Trevor Rosenthal. 6 likes away from 100. Everybody, we are 6 away from 100. That's the magic number. Can we get there? Let's get through. Hit that like if you have not hit the like yet. Brandon, you have Rosenthal back to the Cardinals. That's an intriguing idea. All right, let's get back to the list. Let's get back over to the top left and fill out the rest of this board. Colin McHugh. I feel like we're looking for teams that are looking to bolster the bullpen. We're going to be looking at teams that are in more of a win-now situation or have the extreme need. So I feel like, and you guys comment and let me know, Colin McHugh feels like an upgrade for the Houston Astros to me. I can see Colin McHugh going to Houston, bolstering that bullpen. Every team, we talked about at the beginning of this segment, every single team needs bullpen help. The Astros could have some extra money to spend if they don't land Correa, if they don't replace him. Not a ton of money because they got to save the money for paying Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez. But you could bolster the bullpen, sign McHugh to a 2-year deal, add to that bullpen. This postseason, we saw on full display how important the bullpens are. The Astros load up on the bullpen, and they bring in Colin McHugh, pull him away from Tampa. So as a Jays fan, I'm kind of happy. Get Colin McHugh out of that division. So let's see. We got Toronto. We got Tampa. We got Mets. We got Astros or Phillies, Jays, San Francisco, Atlanta. All options for McHugh, Mets or Tampa. The Mets are that's an interesting idea. That's an interesting idea. William, you have him back to the Rays. Very well could. Let's see. John Heyman just tweeting. Rangers seeking an upgrade to offense are considering Starling Marte, who has big interest early Philly, Astros, Mets, Yankees, Marlins are the others that are also in. Starling Marte, with all the heat on Starling Marte, that could happen soon. All right. Aaron Loop. Where do you guys have Aaron Loop? Give me your prediction for Aaron Loop. I think he goes to a win-now championship situation. Comment where you think Loop goes to. Maybe one of the best lefties this past season. Looking at his numbers, 6-0, 65 games. He allowed 6 earned runs. I'll say that again. He appeared in 65 games. He only allowed 6 earned runs. Aaron Loop was amazing. Where was that Aaron Loop when he was with the Blue Jays? Back to Toronto. You'd have a nice lefty 1-2 there with Loop and Miza. Brewers from 0989. Yankees, CC Gaming, Kevin, Toronto, Bam. No Loop to Toronto, can't stand Loop. Miguel San Diego, Brian Mets, Pedro Valenzuela, Giants, Brian Mets, Richard Loop to Jays, Brian is spamming the Mets, that's perfectly fine. Nate Loop to the Mets, a lot of Mets love here. A lot of Mets love. I think interesting with the Mets. I'm not gonna change my pick. Loop to the Mets is very intriguing, though. I am gonna put Aaron Loop on the Dodgers. It feels like an upgrade. They let Alexander go. I feel like it works sending him. Oh no, I picked the wrong team. You guys got me. You guys got me. Here we go. Good job on you guys. You guys got me. I have Aaron Loop going to the Dodgers. It will be Dodgers or Mets, I think, for Loop. It'll be Dodgers or Mets, and I lean if he's talking to multiple teams and the Dodgers and the Mets are talking to him, I think he probably goes to the Dodgers. All right. Andrew Chafin could get a closing gig somewhere, certainly. Mets fans, you wanted Aaron Loop, right? Who's the next best lefty that you could possibly get? Who's the next best lefty? Let me get this up. Let me move some things around. There we go. Loop on the. You guys didn't see it. I accidentally put the Mets logo up there. All right. Andrew Chafin is the next best thing, right? Look what he did last year with the Cubs and with the Athletics. He was incredible. Andrew Chafin, where do you guys think? We had a lot of Loop love for the Mets. I think Chafin goes to the Mets. Give me Andrew Chafin taking that to the Mets. Phillies, Braves, Red Sox, Chafin, LA, or Houston, Oakland. It feels like Mets. They're going to get a lefty, in my opinion, whether they bring back Loop, they get Chafin, they get Shreve, they get Diekman. They're going to get somebody. And I'm going to put Chafin on the Mets. I do not have Joe Kelly going to... I'll give you a little spoiler. We can eliminate one team. I do not have Kelly going to San Francisco. But we'll get to Kelly in a minute. Chasen Shreve, the other lefty. Really good year from Chasen Shreve. I had him as my under-the-radar free agent relief pitcher. Got it done. ERA in the 3s. I don't have a player slide for him, but he was a good pitcher, a good lefty pitcher. I think we talked about, one of the things that the Philadelphia Phillies absolutely must do is they must address and upgrade that bullpen. If you bring in Tepera, if you bring in Chasen Shreve, you're getting that done. So I'm going to have Shreve go to the Phillies. White Sox are going to need to improve their bullpen. Chris Martin is up next. Apple, you don't want Martin back. Don't worry, I'm not going to put Martin back. I think Santee City. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Well, if Carlos Correa leaves, maybe they could work that out. So I think Chase Shreve to the Phillies. Chris Martin, the White Sox are going to be trading away Craig Kimbrel. What I saw, and you guys probably saw it too, was that the Sox took that option basically so they could trade Craig Kimbrel. So I think they're going to trade him. Ryan Tepera we have going. So the White Sox need righty arm in the bullpen. So I'm going to put Chris Martin on the Chicago White Sox. And we're at Joe Kelly, the player we've all been waiting for. Joe Kelly. Where are we going to put Joe Kelly? Is he going to go back to L.A.? Could he go to Houston? We know a lot of teams need that middle infield help, that bullpen. It's just crucial. There's a couple different ways we could go. You guys comment, where do you think Joe Kelly goes? Looking at the teams that we don't have on this board, they all could use him. The Braves could use him. The Brewers could use him. The Cardinals could use him. The Blue Jays, everybody could use him. So this is a toss-up. Brendan, I'm going to get that right, my man. Brendan, you have him to KC or Tampa. Savage, Marlins or Jays. Brandon Burns, back to LA. 0989 to the Brewers. Natalie, you have him to the Rays. That would be an interesting move, him going to the Rays. Might unlock a new Joe Kelly. And we are over 100. I haven't done a like update in a few minutes. We are at 107. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. I truly do. William, you have Kelly to the Braves. It's actually an interesting idea. After moving Martin on, Kelly to the Braves is interesting. I do think he puts himself back in a situation to win. So, cross off KC or Oakland or Texas or Arizona or Pittsburgh or anything like that, Baltimore. I think he puts himself back in a position to win. I'm going to have him go back to Boston. That is my feel, is Joe Kelly goes back to Boston. They could use the bullpen help. We're going to send Rosenthal and Kelly. Rosenthal's going to be cheap, by the way. So we send Rosenthal and Kelly to Boston to shore up that bullpen. They're going to need a strong bullpen going up against the Blue Jays, going up against the Yankees. The bullpen cannot be an Achilles heel. Let's see. Is anything happening? I see some people with some comments. Let's see. And we had... I see your tweet now, Bob Ross 777 on Twitter. We addressed the Archie Bradley. All right, so we've got Watson, Diekman, and Knievel left. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Shoot. All right, I totally forgot. We have one more closer to give up. Actually, strike that. We have two more closers to do. Oi. We have two more closers to do. The first one, Tony Watson. I think Tony Watson gets a closing gig. I think Watson gets a spot similar to that Cubs, Nats, Rockies mentality. A team takes a chance on him. He's a lefty, so he's a unique closer. Most of the closers of baseball are righties right now. I know you've got Chapman, you've got Hader, but the majority are righties. I think Tony Watson has been the closer. I like the idea of Watson. He could either bolster an experienced, ready to win team, or he could be the closer for a, one of those teams that are not going to make the playoffs this year. So I'm going to have Tony Watson going to the Diamondbacks. Next up, Jake Diekman, not closing anywhere. Let's see, Tyler, you had Tony Watson getting re-signed by the Giants. That's an interesting idea. Simply Fog, you had Watson to the Twins. Anthony, Watson to the Marlins. William, Watson to the Reds. That's actually a good idea, William. I like that idea. 0989 Marlins. Mark, back to San Francisco. Miguel, Arizona. Vincent, Arizona. B2TV, Angels. Watson to the Giants from Tyler. Let's do this. Let's get the other closer done. Then we'll go back to Diekman. Will Smith is still with the Braves. He's not a free agent. You still have him. Somebody could fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that Will Smith is still with the Braves. I don't think he's not a free agent. We've got Diekman to we're gonna do Diekman and Knebel at the same time. So we have Diekman to the Phillies, Diekman Angels, Phillies Rays. Let's see. Diekman first. Diekman, I think, is going to give the Padres their bullpen depth. So give me Diekman to the Padres, and then we're going to get to Knebel. And I think Knebel gets a closing shot. So give me Diekman to San Diego. I think San Diego shores up that bullpen. Let's get to Corey Knebel. Baseball Domain. Angels interested on big arms on short term. So future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander could be a fit for them. He's expected to turn down the Astros qualifying offer by tomorrow's deadline for sure. Big arms on short term. Makes sense. I mean, and then Kershaw kind of fits in that mode too, right? How long are you going to sign Kershaw for? So Corey Knebel is our last player. Where's he going? Where do you got? You have Oakland, Philly, back to L.A., Miami, CC Gaming, Knebel to the Tigers, Johnny Cage, back to L.A. Let's see. Alfredo, you like the idea of Diekman to the Padres? Simply, Apple Plays trade talks usually go on right after me. I think we'll have. I think we could have some trades go on while all of this crazy free agency stuff is going on. I mean, we've had a couple. Minor ones, right? Barnhart got traded. I think there were a couple other minor trades. Will Smith's free agent next year. Okay, Marco, Indians. John, Toronto. Sandy City, back to Brewers. All right, Corey Knebel, I think, gets the closing opportunity. Who's missing? Angels. I'm going to go Corey Knebel to go close with the Angels. So we have, for our closers, a closer recap. Iglesias goes to San Diego to close. Jansen stays with the Dodgers. Tepera goes to Philly and gets a closing shot. Melanson goes to close for the Tigers. Kendall Graveman works his way into the closer role with Seattle. Hector Neris is closing out for the Cubs. Givens goes and closes for Washington. Bradley goes and closes for the Rockies. Watson gets a closer gig with the Diamondbacks. Rosenthal works out a closing duties with Barnes. Corey Knebel goes and closes. Corey Knebel had a nice year last year. And he goes and he turns that into a closing gig with the Angels. So that still leaves Cincy and Oakland as teams that need closers. That could change some things. Maybe Cincinnati offers the closing gig to Joe Kelly, and Joe Kelly takes it and goes over to Cincy. I don't see that happening, but you never know. Tyler, you have Watson staying in San Francisco, working with the Giants, future closer Duvall. I think they're going to give Duvall the closer gig now. Maybe Watson goes in there, but and Watson sort of is a middle reliever, a 7th, 8th inning guy, setup guy. Don't have Keelan. Listen, there are a lot of guys that we don't have. 0989. I'll say that there are a lot of names on here. These, and we have spent an hour doing this, and this is 3, 6, 9. This is 18 guys out of 100. So just 18 guys we spent an hour on. So that's why I narrowed it down to players that I think will get closing opportunities. Really, these, I believe, are the best lefty arms that are out there with Loop and Chafin, Shreve, Watson, and Diekman, I think, are the best lefty arms available. And then some of the better right-handed middle relievers. How much more will Boston lose? I don't think they're going to lose much more. You got JD, took his option. I think Boston will be all right. I think Boston probably makes a trade. So there's our player board. Let's move something around here. Let's get... Boom! That's gone. I'm back. So there's our outlook. But what about potential trades? Because that is the other piece. And really, there is, in my opinion, one trade to be had, and that's Craig Kimbrel. Do they trade Craig Kimbrel? Is this going to happen? Let me get the socials out of the way. White Sox took and picked up his club option. And from everything I read, it was with the sole intent to trade him. So if he is going to get traded, we look back at really the teams that need the closers. San Diego, Washington, Oakland, Arizona, the Cubs, Phillies, A's, Angels, Reds, Tigers, Rockies, Red Sox, Dodgers. You're taking that. You're taking that money if you're getting them, and you're only getting him for 1 year. So you got to think about what team would get into the Craig Kimbrel sweepstakes. Where does Kimbrel go? Comment where you think Craig Kimbrel lands. Where are we at with those likes, Steve? Do we have, is 150 in our sights? What are we at right now? Quite frankly, there we go. What are we at? We're at 118. Hit that like if you have not yet. And be sure to subscribe. Come on in. Hit that sub button. Join Ballcap Nation. Come on and join our community. We do this every day. 11 o'clock is the time. I do have to let you guys know. I say that we do it every day, and now I'm going to, pull the rug out. I'm not going to be able to do it tomorrow. We'll be back Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be a miss. I've got a whole bunch of house stuff going on that sort of popped up. So we yesterday did starting pitchers. Tomorrow we were going to dive into the designated hitter. We're not going to be able to do DH tomorrow. We're going to have to do, and Justin Martinez with the sub. Thank you for the subscription. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. I got to put I don't hear anything. So, Justin, is that Dezen is lost? Smudge has subscribed. Welcome. Randy, I think you subscribed about 20 minutes ago. Thank you guys for subscribing. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Welcome to our community. Thank you for joining. Anthony, what was your comment? Let me find it. Can you see Miami starting to transition to Sixto? No, I think Sixto is going to be a starter. Consistent with the secondary pitches, I still think I think Sixto's a starter there. Jays don't have enough assets to get Craig Kimbrel. That's the question. Where is Kimbrel going to go? Kansas City, Boston, Padres, or Angels? I did. We definitely heard that he was heading to the Angels. It was one of our we led off the show with Thor to the Angels. I actually think it's 21 million. I had put 22. I think it's 21. New sub from Just Some Chiefs fan with the subscription. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Thank you for subscribing. Brewers are interesting. We can pair him with Hader, though. Kimbrel did not do well outside of that closer role. He needs to close. So, with everything we have in mind, potential landing spot for Craig Kimbrel, I think he could end up with the Phillies. I have Ryan Tepera and Chasen Shreve going to the Phillies. Ryan Tepera, maybe you like him better in the 8th inning or at a high leverage situation in the 6th or 7th. You could have Kimbrel going to the Phillies. Could also see him going to the Mets. Could you see a Mets deal? The only player we assigned the Mets was Andrew Chafin. They've got Diaz. If they move Diaz, do they go with Kimbrel? Would they trust? Who would you trust out of that, though? Baseball Domain, you like the Dodgers for Kimbrel. If they don't bring back Jansen, definitely. Kimbrel probably doesn't get traded for a while because what we talked about with the player board, the dust needs to settle here. If the Padres don't get Melanson or Iglesias, if the Mets trade Diaz and need something else, if Jansen does not go back to the Dodgers, all of those ifs need to be worked out for Kimbrel to be traded, for his trade value to really rise, for teams to be in need of his service. You got to wait, because right now you could go out and get a player without having to trade your prospect. If you pick up a player that had a qualifying offer, there's a penalty for that. You don't lose your first pick. You lose a pick early, but later on, I think it's second round or third round, you could lose a pick. But, if you're going to give up your second round pick for Kenley Jansen, I think you do it. With Epler now with the Mets, he could bring on Iglesias. True, right? He was the GM. He was not the GM with the Angels this year. He was previous. He was the one who swung that trade for Iglesias. Sure, he obviously saw something there. Do I see Lester? I see Lester potentially going back to the Red Sox. I could see John Lester. I don't think we talked about it yesterday, but I could definitely see Lester ending up back with Boston as a starter, though. Boston still needs some starters. So, Kimbrel, we see. Again, anybody that was not here with us in the beginning, as we sort of wind down, listen, if the relief pitcher stuff, we kind of wind that down right now, and we get back to what we led off the show with, and we can start with, again, what I think is telling, intriguing, pardon me, running out of water, is the situation with Thor to the Angels. Again, I think it's $21 million. Again, my mistake on the $22 million. But to leave, to have your go, this is my 1 year to prove it all to everybody year, and to not do it with the Mets, to go to the Angels. What are the Angels? I mean, listen, maybe the Angels sell Thor on a plan, and he bought that plan, and they're telling him, listen, we're gonna re-sign Iglesias, and we're gonna bring in Kershaw, and we're gonna bring in Kevin Gausman. You're gonna be part of this, the best rotation in baseball. And Syndergaard's like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. For my comeback tour, I want to be a part of that. Versus, honestly, I know the Mets are kind of a mess, but on the field, you're out there with DeGrom. I think there's a good chance to bring Stroman back. Taijuan Walker's a good pitcher. The Mets are a better rotation. So, he could have been part of a better rotation with the Mets. But Mets fans, you probably just wipe your hands clean of this guy, right? He spent so much time injured. He gave you 2 good years. And what do you got? GM, Turco, good to see you and glad you were here. Take care, buddy. Marco F. Thor, who wins the Dylan Bundy sweepstakes? I think Bundy should go to the Nats. That's my feeling on that. So but with this whole situation with Syndergaard, I'm surprised. I don't think the Angels are that much of an upgrade. They've missed the playoffs. You could say the Mets keep missing out on the playoffs, but Syndergaard had some good years there. And there's a better rotation in Queens than there is in Anaheim. I would want to go be a part of that. But maybe there's something there that we don't know that maybe he'll talk about one day. And is the reason why he left. So we have Syndergaard. That was big news. And then the other piece of big news that I obviously was really excited about, and that was Berrios going back to the Blue Jays, signing that extension, that 7-year, $131 million extension for Berrios was a great pickup. You got to do it. When you give up one of your top 2 or 3 prospects in Austin Martin, you give up another top 5 in Simeon Wood Richardson, who will be pitching for the Twins next year. You can't just have that guy for a year and a half. So they make the right move with Berrios, extending him, and it's a good deal. And he's entering his age 28 season. He's in his prime. It's a 7-year deal. They opt out after 5, but if he takes all 7, 35, and you're done. You didn't give him a deal that takes him into his age 38 season, and those last 2 years are going to be junk. It's a good deal. It's a good deal all the way around. And again, we looked at his stuff with the Blue Jays rotation now potentially. Berrios, Ryu, Manoah, Pearson, Hatch. If they can bring back Ray or Matz, you move Hatch out of there and you have a really nice rotation. Love how that looks if they can. I like Matz. I would love Ray, but you bring one of those two back in there, and the rotation is set, solid. So we've got the Blue Jays bringing that back. Also, again, I was talking about the rotations. You know, let me pull up Angels rotation. Listen, sure, you got Ohtani. That's great, right? We all love Ohtani. He's going to win the MVP because he started 20 games this year. And pitched well, right? I know I'm underselling Ohtani. I apologize. I can't help it. I'm a Blue Jay fan, but I'm trying my best here. Okay, so Ohtani's at the top of the rotation. Syndergaard. Look at this for a minute. If Noah Syndergaard is your number 2 starter, based on talent, based on experience, I think you're in trouble. Now, we know they're going to make more moves. They have to make more moves. But you have Ohtani, Syndergaard. I think Sandoval maybe is best in the bullpen. Suarez, you move back to the bullpen. So you go with Ohtani, Syndergaard, Berrios, Detmers, and Canning until you go and make other moves, which they, in my opinion, they absolutely have to do. They absolutely have to make other moves to make the Syndergaard signing work. If he ends up being the only deal they get, it doesn't work. And it is. Yeah, I 1 year, $21 million. I don't know why I put $22 million. So we've got an interesting situation there. The Mets rotation is better. So I'm surprised he would go somewhere. Angels could still make some upgrades, though. Angels could upgrade that. Pedro, you like Stroman to the Angels? That could work. I don't think Detmers is going to start in the bigs. I think they'll give him a chance. I think they are going to give him a chance. He'll be at the back of the rotation. I think they give him a chance to be a starter. Gosman to the Angels, maybe. Santa City, maybe. Let's see. Tyler, is possible Kimbrel returns to the Braves? I don't think, not with Will Smith there, because it's just going to be 1 year for Kimbrel. Let's see. He wants to return to the 6. Whose tweet? Stroman? Let me find it. Hold on a minute. Again, you guys, let me put something up real quick. We get this out of the way. We're going to put this back up. If you see something, say something. Tweet it at me. And again, I have a rule. If you follow me while we're live streaming, I follow you back. I got to follow Chris and Mario back. But if you follow me while we're live streaming, I follow you back. And Stroman. What did Stroman say? How fun is it to watch me just look at my phone? Stroman, 2 hours ago. Shout out to my brother Noah Syndergaard, one of the hardest working dudes in the game. Excited to watch you deal in the future. That's Stroman talking about. That. I haven't. So what's he talking about wanting to go back to the 6? You'll have to send it to me. Dezen is lost, right? Tweet that at me if you can, if you're on Twitter. I would be interested in a reunion. Here's a big game pitcher for the Jays. Listen, this is the way I look at it. And I would be this way with Correa too. Okay? I'm not a Carlos Correa fan. I'm just not. But if he signs with the Blue Jays, listen, when you're on my team, strap in, giddy up, let's go. I'm rooting for you. I want you to win. I want to win. Let's rock, okay? So I don't care. So Stroman's history, some of the stuff that came out that with what he said in the dugout and in the clubhouse and the Randall Grichuk thing and all this stuff. Listen, if they bring Stroman back, like I said, strap in, giddy up, let's go. But and the same thing if the Jays end up getting in on the Carlos Correa sweepstakes, if he ends up coming again, whatever. If you're on the team, let's rock. I don't have to love you, hate you. I want you. I want us to win. We're in it together at that point. What if Boston goes after Verlander or Scherzer? They certainly could. I think Verlander's a little bit more realistic because it's probably a 1-year deal. I think Scherzer wants a couple years. I think Scherzer probably wants a couple-year deal. God, I love this Berrios. This team. Listen, I can remember several years ago listening to Mark Shapiro. Mark Shapiro loves to hear himself talk. He pops up on talk shows and radio shows. Now, some of it he's probably contracted to, but it's the life. It's the life of a man in that position. So he was talking about wanting to win and having to wait and hating the waiting to get back to that winning phase. But when they finally got there, they would be all in. And this Berrios deal is a great sign if you're a Jays fan and you're hoping that they'll give the money to Vladdy. They'll give the money to Bo. This is a sign, right? You're not going to have Jose Berrios locked in, give him this deal, and not take care of other cornerstone pieces. They're in it. They're going for it. They're going for a title. All right, I see that. And anybody that has not hit the like yet, what's our like count? I'll update that. I'm going to refresh. We're at 130. Can we get to 150? Are there 20 of you out there? Listen, I see you guys in the chat. A lot of you have been here for a lot of the stream, so you've probably already hit the like. I love that you guys have been there that long. If you haven't hit the like, if you're new getting in, we have 162 viewers. We are 20 likes away from 150. 150 would be an awesome number. Would be the first time that we got to 150 live during the stream. So 150 would be a big accomplishment. Who gets paid more, Vladdy or Soto? Oh, Savage, that's a great question. Ooh, maybe Soto, because I think Soto will have to leave the market, right? Can't you see Soto? The Nats are notorious for not spending money on their players. So if Soto would have to maybe leave to get that done. That's a great question, though. That's a great question. Pedro, thank you for hitting the like. Tater, you take the GOAT back before you ever have Correa on your team. Boston talking Carlos Correa. Everyone's talking Carlos Correa. But Red Sox aren't going to do that. They are set, right? You got Bogarts. You got Jeter Downs down there. You got pieces. I can't see them getting in the mix for that. 146 likes. We're 4 away. 4 more. If that's the case, where does Soto go? I think he ends up in a major market. I think he ends up in New York or L.A. I could see Soto ending up in New York or L.A. Vladdy, he better be a Jays lifer, Rocky. I'm with you. You can't. It's a generational talent. It's Fernando Tatis Jr. It's Ronald Acuna, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You keep them on your team until they can't play anymore, until they're done. And you got to be smart with your contracts, because the last thing you want to do is kind of end up in a situation where the Braves are in, where your cornerstone player is becoming a free agent in his early 30s because he wants to take that thing to his late 30s. So if they can be smart with that thing, 15-year deal for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Lock him in. Do what the Padres did with Tatis. That's what not right now. I want the Blue Jays to do that deal with Vladdy next year. Let's get a year of arbitration with Guerrero. You've earned that, right? As an organization, you take advantage of that. Get a year of arbitration. Pay him the $5 or $6 million that it'll be in arbitration. And then next year, 15-year deal for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The Nats need to do the exact same thing, but I don't think they will. I don't think that the Nats will make that extension. The ownership, they are businessmen. They build... They're in real estate. They do buildings and malls and stuff like that. So they don't sign Harper because Harper is going to cost the same amount as it costs to put up a building. And that building you're going to be making revenue on for the rest of your family's life. Bryce Harper, you're going to put that same money out there, and Bryce Harper's going to be gone in 10 years. And that's it. So there's a disconnect there. And I know that I just know that, okay? I don't want to say how I know that, but I know that. So that's why I don't know if Soto ever gets done. I don't think the Nats, you saw it with Bryce Harper, you saw it with Rendon, the same thing's going to happen with Soto. Now, maybe they can get Soto on a big contract over some short term, but I don't think you see the mega contract that went to Harper, Machado, Trout, Tatis. I don't think you see that contract for Soto. How much will you? $500,000. I think it's $500 million for 15 years. I don't know, something like that. It's insane. The amount of money you give him. I think it's something like that. Weast, thank you for the sub. Welcome in. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Weast, is it Weast? West? Weest? Comment, let me know. How do we pronounce that? Naveen, any great options for the Astros in the offseason? Certainly. We had Colin McHugh as a bullpen upgrade. I think every team will, after watching this World Series, understand the importance of that bullpen. Colin McHugh would be a great piece to add. I also think that while they won't get involved in any of the shortstops, I do think they could bring in Andrelton Simmons. That might not be exciting, but I think that could play. And I also think they'll get a starter. Who do we have for them at starter? I think Houston could get a John Gray type. Those are not big, sexy names, but the Astros need to save their money to sign Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. Yimi Garcia to the Padres. Yimi Garcia, that was another name, right? We could not get to, but Garcia, that'd be a nice add. I'm happy Posey got his 5th Silver Slugger. This is from Tyler. As a Giants fan, I plan on attending the game Posey receives his Silver Slugger award because as a Giants fan, it will be an emotional day. You're gonna have some emotional days for Posey, right? You're gonna have a jersey. They'll obviously have a retirement thing. They'll retire his number, all that stuff. So you've got a lot of good stuff coming there with Posey. Pedro, Thor is going to Disneyland. Yeah, what's better, Disneyland or Disney World? Who's been to both? If you've been to both, if you've been to Disneyland and Disney World, comment in the chat. What's better? Gavin, I want to see Soto, Acuna, Freeman, Ozzie play together in the ATL. Freeman would have to be coming off the books at the right time for that Soto thing, and I don't think it would work. Story or Simeon to New York? I would think if I'm picking one of those two, I would pick Story. Again, thank you guys. What did we get to? We were trying to get to that 150 number. I think we got there. We are at 151. Thank you. Again, thank you. That's the first time we have eclipsed the 150 number in a stream. Williams got Disney World is much better. Weiss, what do I think the Cubs are going to do? I think they're going to make some moves that are short-term moves that they can either spin the player around and trade him at the deadline. Trish Sloan, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Welcome to our community here. Thank you for subscribing. But I think the Cubs, Hector Neris was my pick for them to make a move with the relief pitching. I did not have, I think for starting pitching, a guy like Michael Wacha. I think they'll make some moves. Again, players on 1 or 2 year deals that they can trade if they're having a good season and get some prospects. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let me get some more. What else we got? Daniel Hudson saying San Diego? You could, for sure. That was another one we didn't get to. Twitter. I got you. Let me pull that up. Again, checking Twitter. Listen, you guys, I say it. We got the if you see something, say something. So you follow me. All right, so you're sending me, this is from Dezen, sending me the picture. You're in that rotation, though, next to Manoah. I'm definitely open to a reunion. This was back on October 3rd. Wow, that was a while ago. I did miss that. Excuse me. Raul, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you for coming through with that. I appreciate that. The donation, truly grateful. Thank you. How much do you think Berrios would have gotten if he entered free agency? I thought he could get close to 170. I think if he entered free agency, I think it would have been a similar deal. I do. I think it would have been a similar deal. I don't think he would have gone. I think he still would have got the same number of years because of his age. He's entering his age 28 season this year. He'd be walking into, if he hit free agency, be walking into a new club, entering his age 29 season. Maybe it would have been harder to get that 7th year in another year. But in that range, I think he got about what he would have gotten if he hit the open market. Maybe a little bit more, but like you said, to 180, because you would have had some competition for him. Let's see. I thought I saw something. Yeah, there it is. That's a Stroman piece. Something else. Yeah, we got to watch this Correa to the Tigers thing. It seems to have slowed down. Tyler, Cardinals pitcher, that came out yesterday or 2 days ago, the Lugo deal. All right, and he was an infielder. Savage, bro, we can't let Kershaw go just because of what he's done. I think the Kershaw days with the Dodgers are done. I think they're done. Default Bill Nye. I like that name. Who do the Red Sox sign? Well, just from today for the relievers, I felt pretty good about you guys getting Joe Kelly back and Trevor Rosenthal. I think you need to beef up the bullpen. So I think that happens. I also think as far as starters go, Anthony Descalfani is in play, and I think you could have a John Lester reunion, in my opinion. I think we could rock, and I think that would be some nice pitching upgrades for the Red Sox. Descalfani, Lester, Kelly, and Rosenthal. Rocky Adams coming through with the big super chat. Thank you, Rocky. You've been a great supporter of the channel for a while now, and I truly appreciate you. Thank you, Rocky. I think this is a great day to be a Jays fan with the Berrios extension. I think the Jays have a great advantage to make this team better squad throughout baseball. I feel like a blockbuster on the horizon, shades of 91, man. Dude, that was, I'll be honest with you, one of the most exciting moments in my baseball life was the Fred McGriff and Tony Fernandez for Joe Carter and Roberto Alomar. Roberto Alomar instantly became my favorite baseball player, and the team just catapulted to a new level, right? Giving up McGriff. McGriff was a great player. Loved McGriff. McGriff should be in the Hall of Fame. Tony Fernandez came back, which was great eventually. But that, as a young kid, when that deal went down, that was exciting. That was one of the most exciting moments in my baseball life when that trade happened. And then the Blue Jays just took off from there. So good call. But again, thank you, Rocky. And yes, I'm with you. I think they're in a great spot right now. Sean Miner, the gamer. What's up, man? I want the Yankees to sign Judge for 9 years. Yankees to be for him to be the next captain. They should do it. I think the only thing holding him in their way is he's probably a $30 million a year player, and the Yankees would have 3 of them at that point. You would have Garrett Cole making $30 million, you have Stanton making $30 million, and you have Judge making $30 million. You have $100 million wrapped up into 3 players. They got to get Judge done. They got to get Judge done. And if they can't get him done, they have to trade him for a truckload of high-end prospects. That's where my long shot trade to the Marlins came into play. Just back up the truck, get a ton of prospects if you cannot sign him. Because, right, he should be the next captain. Let's see. Mark and baseball fan, I see you there on Twitter, so I'll follow you back. Let me get to Tyler. The Dodgers third baseman decline has qualified. Could he end up in San Francisco? You're talking about Justin Turner? I think Justin Turner's locked in. I don't think he's going anywhere. Gavin, Angels fans in the chat. It is a good day for you. I think it's a nice get for Syndergaard. There's a lot of upside there. And if it all falls apart, if it just doesn't work out, you move on. You're done. Yeah. Savage. My very first video, the first video I ever uploaded to YouTube was Fred McGriff belonging in the Hall of Fame. If you're on the channel and you sort by oldest video, it's the first thing I ever put up. I've left it. I never put a thumbnail on it because I wanted to leave it like it was at my very first video. I made the case for Fred McGriff to be in the Hall of Fame. 1,000% he should be a Hall of Famer if we look at some of the other sluggers that are in the Hall of Fame. So I do believe that McGriff should be in the Hall of Fame. And again, that was my first upload ever on this thing. It was my inspiration. I was like, Fred McGriff belongs in the Hall of Fame. Damn it! I'm gonna go make a YouTube video. And there we go. That's how it all started. Who signed? Berrios had the extension, and we had the signing of Noah Syndergaard. And quite frankly, I'm surprised we didn't get more news while we're sitting here because it just seemed like today was shaping up to be a big day. Matt, yes, no such thing as a bad one-year contract. 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years, and then there was a long gap because I didn't do anything else after that. Andrelton Simmons. Let's see. Oh, Chris Taylor. You were talking about Chris Taylor up there earlier. I don't think of Chris Taylor as a third baseman. That's why I didn't get that. Sorry. I think of him as a shortstop or a center fielder. I know he can play third, too. He can play pretty much everywhere. He could end up in San Francisco, though. Kenyon Middleton back to the Angels? It's depth for the bullpen. Giants could definitely get Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor feels like a guy that gives you an upgrade and shouldn't cost a ton of money. I think the Giants will be looking for a few of those guys. Godfather cards, who did the Phillies sign? Well, today in our relief pitcher video, we had the Phillies signing Ryan Tepera, Chasen Shreve, possibly being in the mix on a trade for Craig Kimbrel. Yesterday we had, for the starting pitcher video, we had Rich Hill going to the Phillies to bolster that rotation. And I still believe the Phillies are going to be in the mix for Castellanos, Bryant, or Rizzo. One of those three to upgrade that lineup. You cannot have Bryce Harper and just finish in third place. They did not go get that deal done. David Knight, good to see you, David. How are you on this Tuesday? David, we did the relief pitcher predictions, and I gave you guys Michael Givens to be your new closer. Your thoughts, sir? Chris Taylor could go a million places. Let's see. Sean Miner, the gamer. There's so many letters. It's ridiculous sounding. And it's all caps. I'm like, and there's anyway. Sean, Buckeye Sports, I would like to see Freddie Freeman come to the Yankees. Corey Seager as a new shortstop. Oh, he moves Stanton over to right. Clint Frazier needs to go. I don't think the Yankees have a lot of money, but I don't think they have the money for Freeman and Seager. I think you get one of those two. And I think it's probably Seager. You're good with that? Right on. I don't know if you were here yesterday, David. Were you here yesterday? I can't remember. I'm trying to think who we did. Did we give Washington a starter yesterday? Oh, Bundy. Yeah, I think we were talking about that yesterday. Bundy. Yeah, the bullpen is pretty bad. Let's see. Buster only retweeting something from Tim Healy. Noah Syndergaard to the Angels is a significant loss for the Mets, who need to add probably 2 starting pitchers this offseason. The Mets had a lengthy, exclusive window to sign Syndergaard, who was open about his desire and expectation to stay in New York. They didn't take it. Ooh, that's even more. I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that Syndergaard said he wanted to be back. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So, what do we do? Like, what are the Mets doing? Oh, my God. Oh, what a mess. Tyler Wardy, my guy. What are your team? You're not here right now, but what is your team doing? Does Oakland deal Frankie Montas? Scott, I think there's a good chance they do that. Rule, any chance the Jays trade for J-Ram and maybe Bieber? I don't think so. J-Ram is a possibility. I don't think Bieber is going to go anywhere. So, the Mets just let him walk. They must have thought that he would take the qualifying offer. This is what happens when the front office is a wreck. Emmanuel, listen, I've been talking about Correa to the Tigers. I think it needs to happen. I'd like it for that franchise. So I'm pushing that. I think that should go down. Who do you think the Mets need to sign? McFlippin' Cheese. So you now need a couple starters. You need to bring Stroman back. You've got to probably try to get in the mix for, well, now you do with the Syndergaard gone. You need another one. I don't think you can spend out like crazy for two. So Stroman's going to cost you $20 million. Then try to find a guy that's going to cost you 10 to 15. Somebody like Wood, or try to get something. Maybe Kikuchi or Kwang Hyun Kim could be an option. You got to get the bullpen together. I picked Andrew Chafin to be the lefty addition to kind of replace Aaron Loop. So there are some pieces there. I think you're going to bring Javi Baez back. I think there's a good chance there. I still think you could bring Conforto back, but they got to kick it into high gear. The new GM. I hope he showed up to work early today. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Epler move for the Mets. And again, I'm not connected. Not a Mets fan. Just looking at this, I don't think it's a good move. But they needed somebody. The problem is that you get this guy, you're kind of committed to a 5-year window. Just let DeGrom pitch every day due to Cyborg. They might need to do that. Does he have any kids? Does Jacob DeGrom have any kids? I don't care how old they are. They might need his kids to pitch. Even if his kid's like 6. I think you could probably get some good innings out of Jacob DeGrom's kids. Everybody's got till tomorrow to decide on the qualifying offer. Mets are in trouble, Anthony Ranger. I think the Mets are a mess right now. Guys, high heat coming on already? What time is it? Oh, it's 1 o'clock. No kidding. Who signs Zach Greinke? We had that yesterday. I had Greinke going to Atlanta. Apple, do you see any of the NL East teams stepping up and challenging the Braves next season? I think the Phillies could. I think the Marlins will take a step. I don't think they'll challenge for the division, but I think they take a step. I think the Marlins have a season similar to what Detroit had last year. And then after that, the Marlins go. So I think that the Phillies could push. The Mets are a mess. The Mets have too much to do. Do the Red Sox deal anyone this offseason, and who? So the question is, how much do you want to shore up the back of that bullpen? They have the prospects to go get Josh Hader. They do. And Josh Hader keeps getting dangled. Now, the Milwaukee's still in a win-now mode, so they don't want to deal Josh Hader, but they keep dangling him out there to see what they could get. The Red Sox have the prospects to do it. Red Sox have the prospects to make a move. So I think they need to try to make a move for a starter or a reliever. I don't see a price trade. I think he's stuck in L.A. Excuse me. I think Bell will reject the Giants' qualifying offer and test the market, but I still think he ends up back with the Giants, Tyler. He might reject the QO, but he could still work out a deal. No, I don't believe Robbie Ray has declined a qualifying offer, no. Dens and his loss. You're not getting Robbie Ray and Stroman. If anyone has a chance of doing it, it's the Jays. Yeah, I think I want them to get Robbie Ray. Let Stroman go somewhere else. I want them to get Robbie Ray. I like what Robbie Ray brings to the table more. I like Robbie Ray more. I would rather have Robbie Ray. The rotation is set after that. We looked at that earlier. Looking at the Blue Jays rotation, if they bring Robbie Ray back, Ray, Berrios, Ryu, Manoah, Pearson, I love it. That's it. Don't touch it. Hatch can be there in case somebody gets hurt. K can be there in case somebody gets hurt. There you go. That's it. Leave it at that. Put the money you're thinking about giving to Marcus Stroman and put that towards Marcus Semien or something. Elijah Johnson has just subscribed. Thank you, Elijah. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to our community. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, Kamala TV. Glaber does not look good. Giants should go get Stroman. That's a good deal. That's a good idea. Where did I have Stroman? I had Stroman going back to the Mets. But I don't know, the way the Mets screwed up this thing with Thor. Here's the thing about Thor saying he wanted to be back. 18.4 was on the table from the Mets. 21 from the Angels. It's not that. I mean, I know it's a couple $1,000,000, and listen, I don't have a couple $1,000,000 laying around. If there was $2,000,000 laying around, I would trip over people. I would scratch and claw to go get it. But when you're talking about percentages, the percentage difference from what was on the table with the Mets and what he got from the Angels is really not that different if he really wanted to stay. Maybe with the Mets, he wanted a multi-year deal, and the Mets were not willing to give him that. Kamala, you're a Yankee fan, but the Jays looking scary for the next few years. Yankee fans, listen, I have a lot of Yankee fan friends, and they're realistic about what's going on. They see what's going on. JML3, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Thank you for joining our community. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you, buddy. Or gal, if J stands for like Jessica or something. It could stand for Jim or Joe or Jason, or it could stand for Jessica. Anyway, I'm done. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Yankee fans know what's going on. They see it coming. The Rays are a pain in the ass every year. The Blue Jays are up and coming. The Red Sox are always going to be there. So, yeah, Yankees know what's going on. Night baseball. The delay in the GM for the Mets has really hurt their offseason. It's hustle time. All right, exactly. Sean, thank you for the sub. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Welcome to our community. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. We are, I stream pretty much every day here in the middle of the day. So I try to break up your day with some baseball content. If you can't get to TV and you watch MLB Network, or you watch the 9 o'clock version of Hot Stove with those guys, you like that. I like that program too. If you watch that, then you want more baseball content, you need something around lunchtime. That's why I'm here. That's why I wanted to do this. There's a ton of people streaming at night. It's all over the place. I wanted to give you guys an option during the middle of the day to kind of break things up because I have the time, and I thought it would be a decent idea. And some of you guys might not like Chris Russo because he is who's on now. Again, and if you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. I see a couple followers. VG Mobster following on Twitter. I got you back. So there we go. Got that. Let's see. Stroman, too inconsistent. I agree. Mark, I agree. Tyler, Giants fans just need to hope we can upgrade our roster. I think you will. Walk Off Podcast. Good to see you guys in. Good Jays podcast content over there from the Walk Off Podcast. Qualifying offer wouldn't be money in his bank until games are played. The deal with the Angels could have a signing bonus that pays today. Good point. Could be a big factor with the lockout. Good point. That's actually a good point, guys. I like that idea. Good point. Kamala TV, thank you for subscribing. Welcome in. I hope to have at least one of my Yankee fans, come on the channel a couple times. He's a broadcaster or behind the scenes broadcaster, so I trust his opinion, hoping that we can maybe have him come in for some of these streams. Now that I'm doing this every day, every work day, Monday through Friday. On the weekends, it's as needed. I'll be live on Saturday or Sunday if crazy things are happening, if deals are getting signed, if there's a need. I'll be live on the weekends. But this is the set time. This is, the home base right now is 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. Elijah, I see you there. I'll follow you back. So now I do say that with the caveat of I can't do tomorrow. We will not be live tomorrow. Tomorrow was going to be DH's. DH will be moved to Thursday. So we did starting pitching yesterday. Baseball domain, man, it would be insane if Ray accepts qualifying, but he won't. That would be insane, but I don't think he will. Santee City, SF Giants entering the realm of 2021 Cubs. I think the Giants are going to retool. I think they will. I think the Twins could be in big sell-off mode. I think the Giants have the pieces. I do. I think they've got the pieces. They got to bring a couple of them back. I would like Story for 4 to 5, 20-something a year. Yeah, but Story's going to go for 30. Story's probably going to be pushing $30 million a year, and he's going to be looking for closer to 10. 8 to 10 years for Story, I would think. 30 a year. Peter, Noah hasn't pitched in 2 years. Good riddance. Looks like a California boy. Anyway, well, to your point about him not pitching in 2 years, a good riddance. There's your point. Mets fans, that's what you need to think. Be like, you know what? $21 million for a guy who could start 10 games next year. Forget it. We need to spend that $20 million on a certainty. That's the way you look at it, Mets fans. Is good riddance. Moving on. $20 million. Let's spend it somewhere else. Yanks need to find a way to get Baez. Listen, I'll say this about Javi Baez. Kamala TV, good call on Baez with New York. That's why Baez needs to go back to the Mets, or maybe the Yankees get him. But I think the Mets need to get Baez back, because one of the things we all watch for with players that go into New York, go into that pressure cooker, is can they perform? And Javi Baez did. He even gave the fans a thumbs down, and it didn't matter. He came back the next day and won them all back with his performance. So Javi Baez should be back with the Mets. He shows that he can play in that market, play well in that market. He was great with the Mets. He wants to be with Lindor. There's your shortstop, second base combo. You move McNeil to the outfield. I don't know what you can do with Cano. Cano's your DH, I guess. You got like him and Dom Smith can fight it out for who gets the DH. So yeah, but Baez in New York works. I thought that Baez would struggle in New York, but he didn't. He was great. McNeil can't cover second for the Mets, and they spent the Baez money elsewhere. McNeil can't cover second base for the Mets, and they spent the money. I don't think they've spent the Baez money yet. Right, and we're putting McNeil in the outfield. Yes, I am still live, Brooks family. It's been a long stream. We are over 2 hours. Just rocking and rolling. We're just having fun talking baseball. If the Red Sox do trade for Hader, who do we trade to get Hader? Well, you got to give up. You have to give up one of those top prospects. I think you can dip, but I think you can dip into the prospect pool for that. You're going to have to give up Jeter Downs in that situation. Jeter Downs is going to have to go. Now, I think it's okay to part with Jeter Downs because you have Bogarts at short right now. They've also got, I think, York is their other prospect on the left side of that infield. They've got a lot of prospects that are getting close. So why not deal one? You're going to have to. It's a package including Jeter Downs. Peter, Cano's not going to retire. He's playing winter ball. He's making a comeback. Gausman, Semien, and Ramirez go. I think Gausman goes back to San Francisco. I think Semien... I'd like for Semien to go to Toronto, but I have been sticking with Semien to Miami. I think they make a big splash, and they go... And Semien is the pick for Miami. So that's my... That's there. Though I want him back in Toronto. And then Ramirez. Which Ramirez are you talking about? Robinson Cano, don't you know? Yes. Jarren Duran for Hader. Duran, but I think you have to throw in another prospect. Duran would be a good piece. I think you go Duran and another prospect. It is Nick York. Yeah, and Nick York and... So this is this is an interesting situation Boston has. Cassis, York, and Downs are all going to be ready to play in the majors next year. And you got a situation where you have Devers and Bogarts, and second base, you could play Kike at second. They've also got Arroyo for second. At first base, you got Dahlbeck or Cassis or Schwarber if they bring him back. So it's setting up for Boston to make a trade. Kyle, welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in here in a minute. Good to see you. It is a good day to be a Jays fan indeed. Welcome. Kyle, since I don't see you on Twitter anymore, I feel like we're strangers now. I'm happy to see you in here. David has become a member. David, thank you for taking that step, becoming a member. Appreciate that. And anybody that becomes a member, that is the financial. There's money attached to that. There's a couple bucks, or there's a $5 deal. There's a $2 deal, I think it is. $2 you get the exclusive emojis, and you get the badge. The $5 deal, you get the badge, the emojis, and you get the exclusive videos. There's already one up for November. There will be another one up before the end of November. The first one for November was my picks for the awards. So, again, David, welcome in. Welcome to the Gold membership. Ballcap Nation Gold. Thank you. Thank you for that. Where do I think? Okay, Jose Ramirez. I think if he gets traded, he gets traded to the Blue Jays. I don't know if it happens any other way. Blue Jays have the prospect base to get the deal done, and they have the need. Blue Jays need a third baseman. If they don't get Simeon back, they have the need. Fighting it. I'm not even kidding. Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew would work. I'm not even kidding. I've got it. Hold on. My throat is awful. Sammy, your Duran and Dahlbeck could work. That could work. Let's see. Kyle. Thoughts on the Jays signing Jose? Absolutely love it. He's entering his age 28 season. You're in a spot where when that deal is done, he'll be 35. The money is nice. I don't think you overpaid for him. Gives them opportunities to do a lot of other things. I love the deal. I absolutely love the deal. MVPs are Thursday. Yep. So we got rookies yesterday. I believe it's either Cy Young or manager today. And then whichever one of those two is not today will be tomorrow. And then the MVPs on Thursday. Oh, guys. I've got to go get a COVID test. 2:05. Shit. Yeah, I probably got to wrap up to go get my COVID test. Yeah, I'm getting a COVID test. That's why I'm hacking up a lung because I might have COVID. I don't know if I do or not, but I'm going to get the test. I have a possible exposure. So, hey, you know what? Even if I have it, I can still stream. We'll just go through it together. I'll live stream my potential COVID situation. Cards reunion would be great if the Cardinals can get the DH. Jay's front office isn't messing around. I love it. Right, Kyle. I remember Shapiro talking about it years ago. He hated the waiting phase. He knew they weren't ready. This was a couple years ago, and now he's ready. And he said when they would be ready, they would be all in, and they're definitely all in. Yeah, dude, this is. I feel okay. It's the throat. It's the cough. It is manager tonight. Midwest Sports. Good call on that. And I see Barullo also had it. And Brandon, you guys got it. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel good about it. So the COVID I am vaxxed. The COVID situation is that. Wait, what did Aaron Rodgers say? Yeah, I'm immunized. I'm immunized. No, the situation is my wife got terribly sick. Her boss they went and got a test. He got a test the day before her, informed her that he tested positive, so she got tested, and we're just waiting for hers. But if he had it, and she's got the symptoms that he had, she's probably got it. And you know how contagious this effing thing is. So I've probably got it because, we sleep in the same bed. We breathe the same air. We've been coughing, for days now. So I probably have it, which will be fun. That'll be a fun experience. Espinal, I like Espinal, but he's sort of the utility guy. I want Espinal to be the guy that backs up, Simeon and Bo and J-Ram, or Biggio and Bo and Simeon. I like Espinal as the backup. Thank you, Savage. Thank you, Mark. Hydrating. This is my Babe Ruth. McDonald's. 1993 McDonald's greatest team glass. Babe Ruth. I think I've got the complete set. Kyle, you had a staff member at work who had it. Yeah, it's good to take time off. Can't afford for family to get it. Dad is fighting. Yeah, good call then. Thank you, Vance. Thank you. Hopefully, listen, usually with colds, it doesn't hit. Colds don't usually hit me hard. Like, if I get the flu, I'll have it for like 2 days and I'll be fine. Usually I can get over colds. At least the impact of it, right? I'll have lingering effects, but I'm functional usually pretty quickly after colds. Baseball Domain, how happy do you think Mike Trout is to finally be getting some starting pitching? He needs something else, too. He definitely needs something else. Bo Stansfield, thank you for the sub. Welcome to Ballcap Nation, Bo. Appreciate that. Welcome to our community. Biggio, Martinez, and Kirk for Alcantara. I think that might be too much. We know the Marlins need catching. I think you can go Kirk and a prospect deeper down the list. You could probably go Kirk because Kirk is a valued piece, and then Miami needs catching. I think you could probably go Kirk and then a prospect somewhere between that 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere around there. I don't want Espinal to be my regular third baseman. I want him to be my backup. I want him to be my super utility guy that can play all three infield spots. Yeah. All right. I gotta call it quits. I gotta go. It's like a half-hour drive to where I gotta go get this damn COVID test. So, I'm gonna roll. We were gonna go live tomorrow at 11 a.m., but we gotta close on the house, so that's not gonna happen. But I'll be back Thursday. Kyle, come on back Thursday if you can. Everybody, come on back Thursday. I appreciate everybody here who is supporting the channel. You guys have been great today. Midwest Sports, Kyle, David, Chelston, so many of you guys. You guys are awesome. And we've had some new members today sign up. Gavin, thank you for that. David, hopping back in. You guys, and somebody, I feel like we had another one. I'm trying to reload. I can't find it. So thank you guys. Everybody who subbed. Everybody who became a member. Everybody who hit the like. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to run out. Hopefully we'll be back on Thursday. That's the plan. Thursday at 11. We will be talking about the DH spot. So you guys have a good rest of your Tuesday. Thank you guys. I'll keep you posted on what's going on with me if anything goes crazy or sideways. But otherwise, I will be back on Thursday and we will talk more baseball. We will dive into the DH on Thursday. That's the plan. You guys... But I'll say this, between now and then, we could have an upload, right? Or we could have a live stream pop up if one of these top 10 or top 15 free agents sign somewhere. Enjoy your day, everybody. I will talk to you guys at the very latest Thursday at 11. Take care. Have a good day.